Thank you for joining me. It's a crisp, was a blue sky morning when I set out, but now we've got dark clouds gathering. Wonder if they've got snow in them. I love that dramatic cloud feature over there. That's lovely. Wonderful. And the inner child in me cannot resist. Icy puddle. Oh, well, that's interesting. The ice is too thick to be broken. Shows how cold it's been. My garden is obviously more sheltered than these fields, which have had a couple of hours of sunshine on them. My garden is like this, it's white all the way over. Right, I shall continue. This morning I read something and it said, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names, they'll never hurt me." I have to say that's something that I don't agree with. As this field isn't covered in frost as I thought it would be, I'm going to turn the camera around so I can speak directly to you. Bear with. There we are. Hat and all, covering the ears because it is Parky. But sticks and stones may break my bones. Names will never hurt me. That's what we were told as children, but it's not something that I believe. I think I've mentioned this before in a previous piece, but those names, those words that are thrown at you, they can cause deep, very lasting emotional damage. A damage that you can't stick a plaster on, rub it better like a bruise. And if the message is repeated and repeated, it really does linger. But the sticks reminded me of a story of my next door neighbour. Her father lived with them. He was an interesting man. He loved to have a discussion, but he always seemed to end up having the last word. Whether that was by design or default, I'm not quite sure, but he always managed it. And he had been told in years gone by that he would be fit and healthy if he walked for 45 minutes a day. And he used to put emphasis on that, 45, not 40, 45. And he would go off for his walks down the lanes that I often go down, so I often think of him when I'm wandering the lanes. But as he got older, he became rather infirm, and his pace became somewhat slow. And on more than one occasion, he had to resort to leaning over a farm gate to get his wind back. And on more than one occasion, somebody would stop and give him a lift home. And as my friend's husband pointed out, if that had been me, it would be some old bloke that stopped to offer me a lift. But for my friend's father, it was always an attractive lady that stopped to give him a lift. So maybe he had a hidden je ne sais quoi. But I, on one occasion, had the temerity to suggest to him that maybe he could use a walking stick. It's only old people that have walking sticks. And I thought of his words when I used a walking stick when I'd hurt my ankle. It was actually very useful. But no, he wasn't having it. I said, but look, you'll have 3 points in contact with the earth. 1 foot, the stick, the other foot. Rubbish. I've got 4 already. And he stood up. 1 foot, the other foot. 1 foot, the other foot. That's 4. So why do I need a stick? I'm not old. And this from a guy who was in his 90s. You've got to hand it to him. He was game. But whenever I walk I nearly said whenever I walk the streets. Now that's a different scenario, isn't it? Whenever I walk the lanes, I think of him and his argument against the sticks, and that if he wasn't old at 90, I've got nothing to complain about. Oh, bless. Yeah, you come across some people in their 30s and 40s and you think, goodness me, they're old. But that's not usually physically, unless they have a problem. It's very often in the way they think, that they think as people expect old people to think. And I'm leaning on an open door there because that makes me angry. Yeah, but I'm thinking of him now. I'm thinking, actually, I could do with a walking stick on this very firm, icy surface. But I'm not old, so I can manage without it. Thank you for joining me. I shall continue with my walk. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.